my name is Lisa Marie Simmons, and you are watching House the Houseless, Music and Action with Cole Williams.
The Black Panthers coined the phrase "power to the people" during the freedom movement. Today, right now, in this moment, we are all called to uplift those people that you don't make eye contact with and pass on the streets, the least of ours. We gotta dig deep, and we gotta dig deeper. We gotta scream, we gotta shout, we gotta bang on doors, and we gotta let them know to empower the people. We must give power to the people.
Yesterday is far away, my tomorrow's your today. Nothing's what it really seems to be. Walk the road less traveled, then you find yourself in trouble. Some people don't want some people to be free. Spending all our time on the other side. Dance cause the whole world's watching you. You are life's pop culture. If you don't, then they don't wanna. Hold up your head, give power to the truth. We give power to the people. We give in power to the people. We push in power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give in that power to the people. We got power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give that power to the people. Ooh, smile like there's no hurt inside. Live with dignity and pride. Loving like your heaven's here on earth. Dusting off your shoulders while lies in domestic corners. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, release the hurt. Some people never lose. They never felt the news of oppression by others who win only when they abuse. How we treat the bottom, where you go is where you come from. Hold up your head, give power to the truth. We give power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give in power to the people. We give in power to the people.
Awesome. Thank you, Lewis, and welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to yet another episode of House the Houseless. And today we're going to head down to the heart of New Orleans, where the vibrant pulse of the city meets the resonant beats of social change. In this episode, we're going to shine a spotlight on the extraordinary journey of Cole Williams, who's a musical force and relentless advocate for the unhoused in the Crescent City. From the streets of Brooklyn to the soulful tapestry of New Orleans, Cole Williams has woven a narrative that transcends genres. As a musician, a songwriter, a producer, and a humanitarian, her melodies echoes with a purpose that extends far beyond the stage. Today, we're going to explore the intersection of art and activism, delving into the story of women who not only craft soulful, stirring anthems, but also spearheads tangible change in her community. In the rhythm of her last album, Give Power to the People, which we just saw that clip coming on in, Cole channels this legacy of Jill Scott Heron, using her music as a rally cry for justice. But her impact goes beyond the recording studio. As the founder of the Greater New Orleans Citizens Relief Team, Cole is on the front lines, challenging the status quo by renovating blighted houses alongside the unhoused. In an era where every note carries a call to action, Cole Williams stands as a luminary, a beacon of hope for a more equitable world. Today, we're going to explore the artistry and activism of Cole Williams and dive into the pressing issues of social justice and the houselessness in the vibrant city of New Orleans. Cole, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, so good, Fabian. Wow, you make me sound amazing.
Because you are amazing.
Well, I think it's such an honor to be a musician. And as a musician, we're vessels. And as a vessel in music, it just seemed only suiting that I should be a vessel in my community, right? Because charity starts at home. So I'm only as good as we are all doing, which is why I'm so focused and purposed for this work, uplifting from the bottom. But
Yeah.
before we continue, I just want to welcome our new live stream partner, Offbeat Magazine, which is, for me, a hub of music and culture in the Crescent City. So thank you so much to Offbeat Magazine, because we're really spotlighting what's happening in New Orleans and why New Orleans is such a central place for change. If change is going to happen any place in this country and in the world, I just don't know it. I believe it will happen in New Orleans, and it's already happening. So I want to just announce my first two guests. They've been on before, but since it's the month of giving in November, I wanted to bring back on Ellie, Duff, the Executive Director of Culture NOLA, and Sara Parks, the Executive Director of Grace at the Greenlight. I'm first going to cue our video just for some people that have been with us before and maybe some new streamers. I want them just to get a taste of what we do and why we do what we do with the unhoused. So can you cue organizing video 101? Thank you.
Everybody that work in this city hall, how can you look out your window, get out your car, like we ain't shit? I'm one of the homeless persons that they can't just put in a box and say, oh, she's mentally ill, or something wrong with her. No, because I worked at Dave and Buster. You know, I have held several jobs and had to not work because of not having somewhere stable to be.
There are about 8,000 hotel rooms that are available in the city. We're with the New Orleans Relief Citizens team. And right now, we're coming to you to find out if you have rooms available right now.
We want to do what y'all need, not what we want.
For the people.
We want to know what y'all want. That's what this is about.
Well, here's the first thing everybody got to stop doing. Stop saying homeless. Start saying displaced. Because a lot of people is forced into now this position.
I agree with you. A lot of these 501c3s don't even know poor people. They're supposed to be serving them. They give them food or blankets or something, but they don't know them. They've never been in their home. They've never been at their table for dinner. People think the Martin Luther Kings and the Rap Browns and the Stokely Carmichaels, the people who made speeches, they think the spoken word is what built the movement. That ain't what built the movement. It's on that ground, knocking on doors in them cotton fields and cane fields and tobacco fields and meeting with people in bars and hotels and washaterias and beauty parlors and barbershops. That's where the movement was built. If you look at those old footages of Martin Luther King and anybody else doing marches, you'll see a front line of intelligentsia-looking people and professional-looking people, and the whole march is just ragtag black folks. That's who stepped up. It's the ones in pain that know where they hurt and know what is needed for them to not have pain again.
We want city-owned housing to be made available for restoration and renovation for the houseless, by the houseless.
See, we out here doing it because we want the house. We need the house.
That's right. If we do one, the rest will come.
Oh, that's how it goes.
Once we build these houses, and there will be many, we give them away.
Everything here is donations. This is all grassroots. We haven't gotten corporate sponsorship. CORE came out here because they wanted to be a part of this. Our Prevent is out here, they want to be a part of this. Artivism is out here, they want to be a part of this. So this is really community-based.
We're back, Cole. You're muted, Cole.
And we're back. I was watching the video a little bit off screen, and every time I just watch the video about how the Greater New Orleans Citizens Relief Team started, it just reminds me how I got involved with this movement for the people. And you can't serve the people unless you know the people, which is why I had to bring back on Sara Parks and Ellie to chat about what you're doing with the community, but also like what it looks like during the month of giving. So as an organizer for the last 3 years, completely focused, I've seen an influx of volunteers come around the holidays. It's like, for some reason, during Thanksgiving, November, and Christmas in December, that's when a lot of us start to think about someone other than ourselves. And so I just kind of wanted to get your perspective. Do you see more volunteers at this time? And why do you think more people are being more thoughtful about those around us? Sara?
Sure. Hi, everybody. So yes, this is definitely something we see. Our organization relies heavily on volunteers. We use at least 10 to 15 volunteers every single day, 365 days a year. During the holidays, we definitely see an uptick to the point where I actually have to turn volunteers away just because we don't have space and don't have the room for everybody that wants to come. And so then I'm like, hey, why don't you come on another day other than Thanksgiving morning? But it is a time of giving, and I definitely understand that people are thinking about their own communities, their family, their friends, what's happening, and just thinking of, hey, maybe, we can be a helping hand. We do have a lot to be thankful for. So we always appreciate volunteers greatly, but, we do rely on them throughout the whole entire year and appreciate those that think about the unhoused and others, more often than just on the holidays.
Absolutely. Ellie, what do you think? Do you see an influx of volunteers during the holidays? Do you also have to turn away people?
Yes, it's a very good problem to have. As Sara said, we operate very similarly. We always need volunteers, except for during the holiday season. I think, just like Sara said, people think about their own community, their own families. Then that leads you to thinking about those who do not have that community and don't have a family next to them. So if you can do a little bit and help them out, I think everyone always just feels good doing it. And the holidays is the perfect time. You've got extra time on your hands, you're off from work, you're with your family, and maybe everyone wants to go out. So I have the same problem over at my job at Culture Aid NOLA, but I'll accept that problem any day of the year.
Okay, so I'm gonna push the envelope a little bit. We're a solution-oriented podcast. So, and personally, I always like to think of, if there's something that I like to do or something that I see gets results, how can I copy and paste that to other spaces in my life? So during this time of giving, can we think together, what is it about Thanksgiving that makes people, want to take their day off? Because it's really like a long weekend. Take their time off and give to others. How can we copy and paste this space to the rest of the year when we still need volunteers because there's still a housing crisis and, people that we're trying to uplift? Any suggestions? Because I brainstorm and I try to think, how can I get people to feel the way that I do, so excited about helping and serving?
I think it's just about being on the forefront of people's minds. And just recognizing that we do have a huge issue in New Orleans as well as nationwide, of those that don't have the resources that we have every day, and just kind of keeping on top of that, advocating, putting the word out there. Hey, we have organizations that work with these folks year round, and their needs do not go away, after the holidays are over. But how do we get that word out, just that, our unhoused and those in need have needs every single day?
We always try to get more volunteers out by making it fun. I think one thing about the holidays that makes people want to go out and volunteer is you're having a good time with your own family, you're in a good mood, you're in higher spirits. So at Culturate NOLA, we do try to replicate that throughout the year. Cole, you've been at our site before. We have our DJ playing music the entire time, and that's one way that we entice other people. But it's a great question that definitely needs work on. Summer months, I think, everyone's on their own vacations, doing their own thing. I'm not sure for you, Sara, but that's when I always need the most volunteers is the summer months. So also in New Orleans, who wants to volunteer when it's 120 degrees out?
Right. But then you think, who wants to be houseless when it's 120?
Exactly.
Well, I saw, just to, piggyback, I heard two solutions right here. Sara, I heard you say awareness and just speaking about what's happening and what we're doing and trying to get the word out to people that you know. And then, Ellie, you reminded me of what my mentor, the late Curtis Muhammad, used to say all the time. It should be fun to serve. It should be fun to help. And so, so I think you're right. Thanksgiving is a time where maybe people make it a family outing. They want to share with their children, some of the benefits about giving back. But let's think about that, because I think those are things that are really simple, but maybe a lot of people don't give a lot of thought to. I got a hot topic. So I've been reading in the news, as you both have, that supposedly, allegedly, about 1,000 houseless people living in an encampment near Chapatulas under that bridge. They're supposed to be moved. I haven't seen any specific details about where they're going to be moved to and what the long-term process for rehabilitation is, but I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. The first thing I thought when I read it was, okay, this sounds like more of the same that's been going on that hasn't been happening. So what do y'all think?
So I have a little bit of inside, access. This has been a long process. It's not been a quick thing. I've been on lots of meetings with lots of people from all different sectors, from, the city to private businesses to other nonprofits. And we've been meeting for over a year. Focusing on certain encampments. And while I'm not a big fan of sweeps in general, I do think that the media doesn't tell the entire story. And there's been a lot of work and a lot of time and effort. We outreach workers from our organizations have been building relationships with these folks for over a year now, meeting with them multiple times every week, saying, hey, what are your needs? What do you want? Where do you want housing? Do you, that kind of thing. And at this point, from what I know, is 27 individuals that were in that encampment have been housed by our partner agencies, and a lot of those were my clients, and they have continued to come to breakfast and say, I'm so excited, I finally got housing. So there's absolutely some success there. There is there's a lot of, what about everybody else? And so that's why we are boots on the ground, trying to keep resources available, trying to connect people to resources. And then I just want to give a shout out to the city has recently hired Nate Fields as a city homeless director, and he has been amazing. And that's why I kind of feel like it is a little bit different this time around. We actually have somebody from the city who is willing to meet with all of us nonprofits, bring us all together. And he is very boots on the ground, and he's bringing some new ideas. Like, obviously we know affordable housing is an issue. How can we house all these people when we don't have housing available? He's bringing things such as landlord incentives to try to get new landlords on board. All kinds of new creative ideas. And the city, as well as a lot of private funders, are kind of stepping in at this point. And as well as everybody's probably heard, the city got a $15 million grant from HUD that's coming through. So in the past, when things like this have happened, there haven't really been there hasn't been resources behind it. There hasn't been the funding, and this funding is not going only to house people, but also to maintain housing, for continued resources for medical care, mental health care, all of that kind of wraparound services. So I am hopeful. You know, I'm not always a big fan of the sweep approach, like I said, but it's changing lives to this point. I know that there are people that have been housed that have been waiting for housing for a long time, and I'm really happy to see those folks housed. And let's just kind of see if we can keep the momentum.
Absolutely. Do you know, Sara, if there are any formerly unhoused or currently houseless people that are sitting at the table during these meetings? Like, are they also giving their opinions?
Yes. And so that was a huge advocate when I said in the very first meeting, I said, you know, we need to have some leaders from these communities, and they need to have their voices heard, and they need to be in on these meetings. So yes, we have been, you know, letting them speak, letting them come to the table and say, hey, here's what we need, here's what we don't need, here's what, you know, you're wasting your time and efforts on that we really don't need, that kind of thing. So and that's, I'd say that's a recent improvement from past years when sweeps and things have happened, is they actually, Unity and the city are actually taking into opinion those that are unhoused and letting them share what they need in their voices.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ellie, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, that is excellent, having some more insider knowledge from Sara. I didn't know that information. I'm not sure if you did, Cole, but that's really fantastic. I share the same opinion on sweeps, and I had seen a couple of them happening in recent months, which made me a little nervous, made our organization nervous, because when those sweeps do happen, we also see an uptick in individuals coming through our distributions, because all of their food gets taken, all of their resources get taken, etc. But that's fantastic to hear. Hopefully it continues in that positive way. I personally am a little nervous about them enclosing and just, you know, gating all of those previous encampments so no one else can potentially go to those, because as all of us are aware, people become homeless, houseless every single day. So I hope that resources continue, but Sara, it sounds like you're in a really great position and have a great voice and know what's going on, which is fantastic.
Well, Ellie, I think where there's a will, there's a way. And I think if people have nowhere to go, they'll find a space to sleep. But it sounds like wonderful things are happening. I think it's so important for the people that we're serving to be sitting at that table and giving suggestions. So that's definitely a big improvement. Yeah. So I wanted to ask both of you, during these coming months, so like the months of giving, what do you think we in our positions that are actively doing the work? Because if you're just joining us, I have Sara Parks with Grace at the Greenlight and Ellie Duff, ED of Culture Aid NOLA. These are women that don't just talk the talk, but they walk the walk, which is why I'm always happy to just speak with you both, because it's important for me to have people see you guys and what you do, like people that look just like them. And if y'all can do it, if we can do it, I think anyone can do it. And it's just about finding that space. So in these 2 months where people are really open to the idea of sharing their time and just looking at the bottom, can you maybe share some like introductions to volunteering that you think would be helpful for anyone in any region of the country or the world? Like, how can people get involved if they've never done it before?
Yeah, I am a huge advocate of just getting involved in organizations that are already doing the work. So a lot of people, you know, tend to want to go out and do their own thing, you know, with their families or groups or whatever. Sometimes that can be harmful, just because if you don't know the dynamics of the community, those that you're trying to serve, that's why I really encourage people to get involved with local organizations that have been doing the work for a long time, just because they know what helps and know what hurts, and know the dynamics. So here in New Orleans, we have an organization called Hands On New Orleans that we utilize to sign up volunteers. So in many different places all across the country, there are, you know, volunteer opportunities, and there may be portals such as Hands on New Orleans in your community that you can just, do a quick internet search. Hey, how can I give back to my community, whether it be children or unhoused or families or whatever, food banks, and there are plenty of volunteer opportunities. I'll tell you that most nonprofits rely heavily on volunteers, so we want to make it easy to volunteer and for you to give time back to the community. So yeah, get involved with organizations that are doing the work.
Ellie?
I really can't say it any better than that, except for hands-on is not just New Orleans. There's other ones all over the country for that question, Cole. So people in Atlanta can look it up, people in New York. It's just, a simple Google search away, volunteer opportunity, whatever you are interested in. And I think this is the perfect time. You're with your family. It's the easiest to get kids involved, older family members involved, and to also chat with your family members and chat with your community people to see what they're involved in. I think a lot of people volunteer and they are active in their community, but they don't do it for the clout at the end of the day. So they're not shouting it from the rooftops, and people might not know that their best friend does volunteer every single Saturday or 2 days a week, etc. So just opening up that conversation as well of, do you want to volunteer? Is there anything you want to do? Is a huge benefit.
I love it.
And
all right.
Can I add in one more thing? I'll also just say that volunteering can look so different in different organizations, and even within an organization, volunteering doesn't always have to look like showing up to serve food or whatever. I have plenty of volunteers that do it from home. They make up hygiene bags or, kits, or even do data entry work and that kind of stuff. So it can look really different depending on your skill sets and how much time you have and your abilities. And generally organizations are willing to work with volunteers no matter what their skills are.
I love that. No, I love that because it's you really want to, it's like you can have that shop around approach. Find an organization that suits your needs, maybe suits what you do, what you like, and suits your schedule. And then you don't feel like you're giving too much, or you get drained, because there can be burnout, right, with volunteers.
That's kind of what we did, Cole. That's to jump in really, really quick. Our family, we found a local organization, Unforgotten Haven, and the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, usually it's been Christmas, but we get all the kids together and we buy loaves of bread and peanut butter and jelly. And it's us, the kids, and the table, and it's a big mess, but the kids have a great time. So the dogs try to get the scraps on the floor and the whole entire thing. But we make about 300 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every holiday season. And we call up the Unforgotten Haven. Someone comes to the house, they pick up the sandwiches in the sandwich bags, and they do what they have to do with it. So sometimes it's just the small gestures, but to that is also showing our kids, the younger generation, that even the small things, they add up to bigger things. So that's my little 2 cents for that.
I love that. Yeah, because we don't always talk about the impact of children seeing their parents serve. It really does start with the youth. It starts with education, and we're educated in so many different ways. But children really are educated by what they see more than what they hear. So when they're seeing their parents give of their time, take money out of their pockets, buy supplies to make food, then it just really creates a well-rounded child, which makes a well-rounded adult, which really improves the cycle of giving and serving, because you receive so much. I think that we don't talk about the blessings that you receive when you serve, but I just, I'm sparkly today because that's how blessed I am, boom. So I want to take this short break. Let's go to cutaway video 2, but let's think about the blessings. Let's share that side. Are there any blessings that we've received that we feel comfortable with sharing because we serve? Cutaway video.
They can't see through the haze, the clouds. Like the idea of building a movement from the bottom up don't ring a bell in their head. That they still believe the intelligentsia has the genius to get people justice.
Good, thank you.
But it's the ones in pain that know where they hurt and know what is needed for them to not have pain again. And we don't seek out, we don't harvest the genius of the least of ours. We don't pay them any attention, we just walk by them. give them a quarter and think it's all right. But the idea of organizing the least of ours and moving upwards, I mean, if you go look at the Civil Rights Bill, we passed it on behalf of black folks, but white folks, white women particularly, benefited more than we did because it's a universal issue. So if the people on the bottom raise, everybody raise.
We're back, Cole.
All right, we're back. If you're just joining us, I am chatting with Sara Parks, Executive Director of Grace at the Greenlight, and Ellie Duff, Executive Director of Culture at NOLA. This is House the Houseless, Music and Action. We're solution-oriented. We're speaking about what we can do in theory and in practice. So before the break, we were speaking about blessings. And you know, I think a lot of people don't like to talk about blessings. You know, blessings could fall into this like religious vein, but I really think of blessings as another way of saying luck. You know, there are many different words to describe things, but there is a benefit from serving, and it may not be direct. So if I'm serving food, I might not get food back, but wow, when you see like the genuine look of appreciation, like you look at someone in their eyes, like they're a real person, like I look at anyone else, and they feel that they're being respected. Wow, like those walls that are broken are just amazing, and it's encouraging for me, and it's empowering for me. So everyone isn't grateful, or what I think of as being grateful, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I feel like that's part of planting seeds in the community. So I just wanted to ask y'all, because I've never talked to you about blessings, and you know, what blessings are you comfortable with sharing that you receive because you serve community?
My biggest blessing that I get back is immediately just from the community, the friendships and just love immediately given back to me. I know there are dozens of people in my corner because I'm in everyone else's corner. So if something ever happens on site, if I ever have a problem, so many people ask. This past summer, for example, my mom had a surgery. So I took a week off to go help her at home. When I came back, all of my volunteers, all of the guests who I see twice weekly, oh my gosh, how's your mother? How's your mom doing? Some of them called me when I was in Oklahoma to check in on her. And you don't get that working in an office building, 9 to 5 every single day necessarily. So for me, the greatest blessing has just been the community and people caring.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I would just such a great sense of community. Um, my friend comes to visit from South Carolina every once in a while, and she likes to volunteer when she comes. And she jokes that when we drive around town and I take her places, that every time we stop at a red light, they're like, "Oh, hey, Miss Sara," like, "Hey," and it's true. And it's just I have friends everywhere I go, and just like Ellie said, like we have each other's backs. If I'm having a bad day, I've got plenty of people that are going to give me an uplifting word and a smile and say, "Hey, it's going to be okay." And in turn, I can do the same for them. So just, gosh, it's a family that we have built, and a family among the least of these. And I love that. And, just being able to be able to bring dignity to those that go unseen sometimes, really gives me a purpose and a passion, and especially being able to share that with our greater community.
I want to talk about the young people, the youth. How do we get the youth involved in this cycle of community, specifically with serving community, and specifically with regarding the houseless as human beings, and enjoying and embracing that everybody's different and everybody goes through things, and there's nothing wrong with helping the least of us? How do we get the young people involved? Any suggestions, Ellie? Baby?
Yeah.
Sara?
I can start first. I think one of the most important things we already semi touched on is getting the young people in your own family and in your own network involved. I got involved because both of my parents were heavily involved in the community, and I saw that immediately growing up and wanted to replicate that. Culture at NOLA, we work with multiple universities and high schools to get the young students out of their comfort zone, out of the neighborhood they grew up in, put them on the other side of town and let them see how other people live. And I honestly think it's easier to get young people out to volunteer and to have them regard unhoused people as normal, just regular people, because young people have so much less biases and just inherently in them. I remember being a kid and telling my dad one day, "Oh, can we give this homeless person an apple?" And he said, "Great, yeah, why not?" He started preparing bags a couple times and we'd give them away, no question. And it wasn't a question for me. It was just normal as a little kid. So I think kids have a lot less biases and it's easier to get them involved.
I love that. I mean, my 2 cents about it is, start local. And also connect with people in the community who are providing community programming. In my experience, I used to be a school teacher. I'm not sure if any of you knew that, but I taught education and music for 15 years. Now I'm on the other side of that, I'm in the community programming. And what we found to work is really just connecting with the different stakeholders who are the movers and shakers in the small local communities, whether that be the teachers or the principals, whether that be the police department, whether that be the fire department, whether that be small local nonprofits that are putting on community programming, and getting those people at the same table and having those difficult conversations, right? And maybe just doing small little things, connecting people at a local farmer's market, connecting people at an assembly during a school. It's again, when there's a will, there's a way. But I think the way to make moves, at least in my experience, is getting the people, the movers and shakers in the local community, and getting those people talking, and first just having the conversations about the problems and about the issues, and then collaborating together. Well, what is it that we can do? What's the one step that we can do? Not the 25 steps that, not the big net. What's the one step that we can do right here in our zip code? Right. And then if you really want to put some gas on it, get some PR behind it, get the local newspaper, the local social media blogs and all those things to start talking about the empowering things that people are doing in the community instead of all the ruckus and all the noise of all the negativity. Again, that's just from my small little niche in Canham County, New Jersey, my small little zip code.
That's great. I agree with both what Fabian and Ellie said, and I think also just making it easy for young folks to volunteer. Don't have all these rules and stipulations and all of these kind of requirements for volunteering. Our organization will take volunteers of any age. So I have kids as young as like 3 years old that will come and they will hand out a bottle of water. When it's 120 degrees out there, that bottle of water might be saving somebody's life. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science to get kids involved. And so, starting on that basic, like Fabian said, that one step, it doesn't, have to be this big, huge thing, but getting them involved at an early age, letting them know just simple kindness on a daily basis truly changes our community, and just helping encourage them to make it a part of their daily lives.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. And I will say that our youth volunteers, 9 and 11, they're our strongest volunteers. They're always asking how to help. Sometimes little JJ, she's tired, but that's okay. But they're always just asking what to do, always just super excited. So what we started doing is creating a reward system. So I'm always asking, so how are your grades? Let me see that report card. Brought it to me. I'm looking, okay, good. C, why'd you get a C there? What happened? What did the teacher say? So gave them rewards. So one got all A's. So I was like, what do you want to eat? Told me they wanted breakfast, bought them breakfast. The other one still got a gift, but not like that big old breakfast. So something to work towards. So, it's just really nice to see them volunteer, and you want to just let them know, they're little surprises. They're little blessings that happen when you serve. People are always looking. And I've seen adults get so encouraged by watching the children that they come along. So the children will lead us.
Wonderful. When the kids start working harder than the adults look around, and then they pull, and they're like, all right, I need to get sweaty too. And they start working.
It's a little embarrassing, but yeah, whatever it takes. Sometimes a little shame, we don't mind. Get you out of here. Oh Lord, we always running out of time. Well, so for years, I've always wanted to write a holiday song. You know, started off in the church. You know, Christmas is a big deal. I got older. I'm like, I don't understand why we're even celebrating Christmas. Like, the Bible says this, but we're doing this. Like, what does it really mean? You know, I went through all the phases, and you know, just doing this work. You know, and just really getting into family, like the families not that we're only born into, but the families that we choose. I think that more than like, you know, having to celebrate the holiday out of necessity, I just like the fact that at least for 2 days, 2 seasons out of the year, 2 spaces, people think about coming together and just being positive. And I think if just for that, like, you know, I enjoy it. So I wrote this song, Who Cares for the Houseless on the Holidays, because for me, like, it's like 24/7, 365. And like when, you know, I don't feel too bad, Ellie, about not getting groceries this week, because I know that like the houseless are gonna get so much food this weekend because everybody's coming out. But like on the other hand, it's like, okay, but you know, they're still hungry like those other weekends out of the year. So I just wanted to play that song and just share my contribution to the holiday music. Cue it up, Lewis. Did I do it right, Fabian?
You did a great job, girl.
Christmas time is here. Champagne toast. Drink your beer. It's the time when we try to think of someone other than ourselves. But do we really know how deep some suffering goes? When do we think of someone other than ourselves? Do we care? Who cares? Who cares for the needy? Who cares for the houseless on the holidays? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares for the least of us? Who cares for the houseless on the holidays? What if we organize the bottom, like I know we organize our shopping list for special gifts for people we don't even know? I know we make a difference with a little compassion and some more commitment. Whoa, we can't live in dark corners. Let's serve all year long. Whoa, who cares for the children? Who cares for the houseless on the holidays? I wanna know. Who cares for education? Who cares for the houseless on the holidays? Oh.
And we don't seek out, we don't harvest the genius of the least of ours. We don't pay them any attention. We just walk by them, give them a quarter and think it's all right. But the idea of organizing the least of ours and moving upwards, I mean, if you go look at the Civil Rights Bill, we passed it on behalf of black folks, but white folks, white women particularly, benefited more than we did because it's a universal issue. So if the people on the bottom raise, everybody raise.
We live in freedom. We live in justice. All for one and one for all. If we don't win, then we all fall. Now's the time to practice community. Live from the bottom, this humanity. We decide who will ride, who will live, who will die. We decide to spread joy, decide to spread love all over the world. The holidays are here. Remember, some people go without all year. We can choose to plant seeds of hope with everyone around us. Listen, blessed are the meek, and blessed are the free. I know, you know,
We are better together.
Who cares? Oh, who cares?
Wow, Cole.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're back. If you are just joining us, thank you so much for being here. This is House, the Houseless, Music in Action, a solution-oriented discussion, speaking with the people that are in the community doing it with the unhoused and the at need. So we just played, my holiday song in the spirit of the season of giving. We have Black Friday coming up, Cyber Monday. We're going to call this Give Power to the People Wednesday, where I want each of you to do like a short call to action where you can let people know why you do what you do, where they can find out more about you, and if they're interested in giving or volunteering, like how they can do that. Ellie, can you start, please?
Yes, sorry, I had to unmute myself. We're 3 years into Zoom and I'm still getting it. Culture Aid NOLA, I'm the executive director, but Culture Aid NOLA, our main mission is to serve all types of aid, but primarily food to underserved members of New Orleans cultural community. The best and easiest way to get involved is www.cultureaidnola.org. And also Giving Tuesday is right around the corner as well, Cole. So don't forget about that holiday as well. That's right here with all of this. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Always great to talk about Culture Aid NOLA and love chatting with you, Cole.
Of course. Go and tell the people who you are, Ms.
All right. So I'm Sara Parks with Grace at the Greenlight, graceatthegreenlight.org. Our mission is to meet the basic needs of the unhoused community, which we consider to be food, water, clothing, and community. And yes, you can get involved. We use volunteers every day, 365 days a year. And as well, are grateful for any Giving Tuesday gifts that help us make an impact in the lives of the unhoused at graceatthegreenlight.org.
Yes. So as you know, the theme song for this podcast is titled Give Power to the People. And, I wrote it from a place of not just the theory of power to the people, but practicing it. And it's about valuing all people, regardless of where you come from, where you're at, but just really treating everyone with the dignity and the respect that they deserve to be treated with because they're a human being. You might have said this before, but just as a reminder to people, I want to give people just a DIY on volunteering and organizing. Can you share a moment or a situation where somebody can give power to the people, to the least of us, give power to someone in need? Anyone can start.
All right. I'll just say, take it small, take it simple. Give a bottle of water to somebody that is on the side of the road, give them a smile, look in their eyes, giving dignity to people and letting them know that they are human, they are part of our community, I think is the best gift that you can give others.
There's nothing I can say that would top that. Sara is so spot on. Dignity. Treating people like you want to be treated is probably the most simplest and first step that everyone can do. That is extremely powerful, Sara. Thanks for saying that.
I can't add anything more to what they just said, honestly. Sara blew it out of the park. Just give people dignity. Don't turn your face when you're at the stoplights and someone's looking at you. Wave at them, say have a great day. When you're walking by, just respond. Be a human, be a decent human being, and that goes a long way.
Well, you know me, I'm an air sign, so I'm going to extend your dignity. And I want to say, thinking about the dignity that we treat everybody with, the unhoused, our neighbor, the clerk at the store, the person that cut us off in the road, the little child that needs some help, the person that we love, the person that we hate, the people that we need to be around. Just remembering that dignity is copied and pasted, and it's everybody's right, whether we think they deserve it or not. So thank y'all so much for being here and chatting. Please, if you haven't checked out Grace at the Greenlight or Culture Aid NOLA, please make sure that you go to their websites. I think we're gonna put it in the information about the video posts, live stream. It's always a pleasure just to help to facilitate this solution-oriented conversation that I can already see has started making changes and impact just in my life. And I know it's gonna start to change the world. So much appreciation, Louis and Fabian, for giving us this platform. Offbeat, thank you to Jan and Noe for helping us to expand. Y'all are great partners. We couldn't ask for a better one.
I just want to double down on all that. First of all, Cole, thanks for your time. Ellie, Sara, thanks for your time. Thanks, Cole, for the connection and bringing all these great people to my space. Thanks to Rope-a-Dope for allowing me a little platform here to connect with some great people above and beyond just, 1, 2, 3, 4, hit it, just, above and beyond the music, but what's happening with the community and what's happening culturally and what's happening that's moving things forward. That's just to be a part of that. It's really, really important to me. I also want to say, stay tuned because in December, instead of having the regular guests that we have, the guests are actually the people. Right? Cole is going to be answering questions and, sharing practical, I guess I'll call it like DIY tools to build a movement with the people from the bottom all the way up. So if you have questions or comments, or you want to just be a part of the conversation when it comes to the housing crisis, or how you can start a movement with the houseless, you can reach out to Cole. I have her email here. It's I am Cole at colewilliamsmusic.com. Cole is an artist, so I'll give her, she's humble, but I'll give her the plug. If you haven't visited her and her music, go check out colewilliams.bandcamp.com. Here's the thing I know about artists and creatives, right? It's not an easy lift, right? But when we are empowering our creatives and empowering our artists to do what they do magically, it just lifts them up, lifts their spirits, and it allows them to do more things like Cole is doing today. And that is extremely important. So support an artist, support a musician, support a creative, support an activist, support people who are making things move forward.
power. Yes, Lord. Put the mind on the kingdom. You pray that prayer. Thy kingdom come. Now they're not preparing for the kingdom. They don't believe in the kingdom. Amen. Talking about everybody got to die. The church say amen. God got all power, ain't it? You got all power. Yes. You got all power. Lord, Lord. Trust it in you. All power. Well, you got all power.